In 1981, a former actor, Ronald Reagan, became the President of the United States. He threw out everything that had gone before and changed the way the USA attacked the USSR. In this video, we will explore the key events and factors that contributed to the Second Cold War, including the rise of Reagan's militant anti-communism, the development of new weapons, and the announcement of the Strategic Defense Initiative, which is also known as Star Wars. Hi there guys! Reagan's militant anti-communism and harsh anti-Soviet speeches contributed to a worsening of relations with the Soviet Union from the first years of his presidency. Reagan believed that the Soviet Union was bent on world domination and regarded communism as an immoral and destructive ideology. He was determined to stop the spread of communism and to push back against Soviet influence wherever it was found. At his very first press conference as president, Reagan questioned the legitimacy of the Soviet government. 2 years later, in a memorable speech given in Florida, he denounced the Soviet Union as an evil empire. Reagan wanted to roll back the influence of the Soviet Union. To achieve this, he persuaded Congress to increase spending on defense. There was an increase of 13% in 1982 and further increases of 8% in 1983 and 84. New weapons such as Trident submarines and stealth bombers were developed. He announced his Reagan Doctrine, in which he said the USA would support anti-communist insurgents wherever they might be, and focused much of his energy on supporting proxy armies to curtail Soviet influence. Money was given to insurgent groups in South American countries, including El Salvador and Nicaragua. Reagan believed, correctly, that the Soviet Union was in deep economic crisis and that communism was a failed ideology that was destined to collapse. So, on March 23, 1983, he announced the Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars project. The idea was to put the USSR under increasing financial pressure to counter the US's developments. The SDI was announced by President Ronald Reagan in a televised address to the nation. Reagan called upon American scientists and engineers to develop a system that would render nuclear weapons obsolete. The heart of the SDI program was a plan to develop a space-based missile defense program that could protect the government from large-scale nuclear attack. The SDI was intended to defend the United States from attack from Soviet intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, by intercepting the missiles at various phases of their flight. In reality, the technology for these weapons did not yet exist, and the Star Wars project never actually happened. But these actions were a clear signal that the USA no longer intended to keep to the treaties of the 1970s. Many Americans expressed alarm that the funding for SDI came at the cost of social programs like education and healthcare. However, Star Wars did have the desired effect in Moscow. They were shocked because the initiative would render their weapons useless. The Soviet Union just didn't have the money to keep up, and this was a significant cause of Gorbachev's New Thinking. Okay, that is everything you need to know about the Star Wars project and its causes and consequences. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it, and don't forget to check out my website for worksheets and revision guidance. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.